Anita.
Hi.
I'm on Zoom as well, so I'm going to mute you because I'm also going to be live. So, hi, everybody on here on Zoom and on Facebook. Um, Here is a guided meditation for this evening, the Circle of Light meditation. And I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to do this because we lost power this morning in this crazy windstorm. But then we got it back. So that's good. All right, so let's see. For this evening, for the, every week I do this here on Souls Gathering Together and also on Zoom. And as I said, I'm in both places right now. So, what an appropriate time to do a meditation on having compassion for the other, which what is the other, right? It's somebody who we don't agree with, who we may not understand, who we, and I'm not just talking about politics, but that's an obvious one. Or with a lot going on right now, a lot of people approaching things that we may not. It is about just not understanding necessarily, and I think I'm just going to put this in context for a little bit. For Because I think this might be helpful before we get into this meditation, which is really going to be about bringing in light and connecting, opening our hearts to the hearts of others who, and about clearing up energy, because everything is energy. And when we remember that sometimes there can be energy blockages and, energy being drained and co-opted, usually it's unintentional, let's hope that when we bring in light to clear up that energy, that it really can help us feel better and just help us bring about this greater understanding. So I think, just so the context piece that I wanted to say is that the way that most of our brains operate, in my understanding, is that we put things into boxes as this is good, this is bad, this is right, this is left, this is, and it's how our brain categorizes things as this or that, and very rarely though, I just finished teaching an Akashic Records class, and many of you know I go into my own Akashic Records quite a bit, and I've gone in, as you can imagine, a lot over the past few months trying to like get some more information about what's happening and why is it happening and what's real, like who to believe, because I'm skeptical of everything, as many of you know, and I'm very hesitant to trust anybody besides really any human, to be honest. I'm very skeptical. But so what comes up in the Akashic Records is that there's a little bit of truth and a little bit of untruth in everything, and ultimately, and what can be true for me might be different than what's true for you, but how do we honor that and respect that? And so that thing of like truth and untruth and everything, like, well, what does that mean, right? And I'm human too, and I tend to have my brain still does that too, of like, well, this is good, this is bad. But one thing that I've evolved a lot in terms of myself, and I won't go into this, but it's an interesting thing, is my political beliefs, being raised in one political party most of my life, and being kind of like that was it, that was the only thing, and then looking at the other side though, and like the other political party, there's only basically two major ones in the United States, which just probably shouldn't be that way, and starting to see the other side of the other political party and why, and I always never understood, well, how could they be like that, or why do they believe that? And when I started realizing that nothing is as it seems, and that helped me start to really find a middle ground, and that is where I really do live, is in the middle, and seeing, well, there's some good points over here, and there's also some good points over here, and some of the things I don't really like over there, and some of the things I don't really like over there, and so I've had picking and choosing. So the political thing is one way, but I think, try not to get political, but because people get triggered. Um, so if we can, though, think about a person, maybe it's a political figure or a person in our lives, that we know who we do get triggered by, and there's a lot of that happening right now. That brings up a reaction. When there's a reaction, there's an emotional reaction, anger, the pulse starts, racing, you feel hot, you just start to feel like, an emotion. Then there's something there. And the triggers often it's not necessarily about that person. It's about something that they're saying or doing, or something that is triggering another belief within you, within us, and that's when it's like, well, and if we really take a moment to do some real, deep self-inquiry, we can start to be like, well, what is this about? Where is this coming from? Is this really is it as simple as this person or these group of people are just bad and wrong? And that's certainly how I was taught to view things. We're right and you're wrong. Simple, right? No, it's never as simple as that. Or could it be that maybe I haven't seen, maybe I have a blind spot. Maybe there's something that I'm missing. And that takes a lot. It's taken me years to get to that point. I certainly am still working on it, but saying, well, maybe I'm not, maybe I have some kind of subconscious bias or some subconscious programming that is causing me to view things in a certain way and to flat out reject the other way. And often that is, again, it's a natural human thing. But if we are to evolve into this new way of being on Earth, which is a fifth dimensional way, unity consciousness, what does that mean? A lot of you know, but it's living in alignment with our higher selves, with love, compassion, kindness, forgiveness, empathy, understanding, and helping each other, helping the Earth, away from the division, the separation, the polarization, the us versus them, we're seeing a lot of that right now. And it may seem really bad and awful, but and sometimes I worry about that too, but I believe that, what's happening is that we're finally seeing it all. We're seeing all the division. We're seeing really, it's not our fault that we get baited into this, the media, right, baits us and programs us to start to view things in this simplistic way. Is either you believe this or that, and if you believe that, you're good. If you believe that, you're bad. Not as simple as that. So anyway, that's how the programming is still happening. A lot of people are starting to wake up to it, being like, this doesn't make any sense. They're starting to realize there's something else going on. They're starting to see they're being manipulated, which has been going on for thousands of years. But the good news is that a lot of people are waking up to it now. So it's still easy to fall into the trap of, well, everything will be better if these people just did that, or everything will be better if these people just didn't do that. And so we start to attack each other, when really that's not, that attacking is a natural thing, I believe, that the human, the egos do to try to, it's a way to not necessarily work on our own stuff. It's easier, right? It's easier to be like, well, this is because of you, right? It's because of you. And for me, and it's not because of anything I've done, because that's hard. It's hard to do that self-inquiry and say, well, maybe I'm missing something. Maybe there's something more I could have done. And I learned a lot from Shambhala Buddhism, Tibetan Buddhism, when I was going through a breakup, I guess this was like 15 years ago. And I had noticed this pattern of, dysfunctional relationships, and it kept happening. And then it got to the point where I was like, I must be doing something to contribute to this. I can't keep blaming all my ex-boyfriends for all these problems. It's not them, because there's one common denominator, me. So it took a lot of humility for me to be like, I need to look at myself and what was I bringing to the table. So that, I think, is ultimately how we're going to heal and how we're going to come together, is when we all have the courage to do our own inner work. And how does it seem related to, the larger collective consciousness? Well, when we remember everything is energy, and when I'm working on my stuff and I'm clearing out my own anger and fear, which I might project at myself, right? Not forgiving myself, and we're doing the best we can. And I clear up the anger and fear at myself. I clear up anger and fear towards others. And this is going way deeper than some of you may have expected, but the reason I believe that we're in this situation on Earth is because the vibrational frequencies of anger and fear have been used to control us for thousands and thousands of years. And so, how do we free ourselves? And so, who's controlling us? That's a whole other topic. We won't get into that now. But doesn't help necessarily to view it as like somebody else controlling us because we partly brought it on ourselves. But I do think there's some intervening vibrations that have been controlling Earth, keeping us locked in this prison of mental programming. But how do we free ourselves from this, vibrational control of keeping us locked in anger and fear and division? Love. It's the only way. It's the only way. Is Love is the answer. Love is the most powerful tool. That's hard for a lot of people, including myself sometimes. But forgive them for they know not what they do. They're even the most horrible, awful thing that somebody does. We all can be forgiven in the eyes of, divine source energy, in the eyes of God, in light. That is something I've learned is that, we've seen this, people on death row who've done these horrifying, maybe they have, maybe they haven't, right? But, people who have taken a life or done something worse to a child, God forbid, some horrifying things, they still can be folded into the light. We all have, we need to remember that. I believe that we all can change. And sometimes it doesn't happen in this lifetime, but once our souls go to the other side, if we've done something horrible in our life, then we have this opportunity with our guides and masters and angels to learn, like, how can I do it better next time? And then we choose another lifetime to help us learn that lesson. So anyway, so the way that I think, having said all that, I think that puts a context into this, that the love and all the things that are connected with love. And in this case, and I speak this for myself too, because I sometimes get triggered by things. They're doing the best they can. The people that we think are the problem, the person or the people that we think are doing it wrong, and we're right. How can we say, well, maybe it's okay. Maybe that's just that's right for them, and accepting that, even though we don't understand it, can we just sit with that and allow them to do what they feel they need to do to be happy, which is another Buddhist thing that I learned. Everyone's just doing what they believe is going to make them happy. And even if it's an irrational thing, what they believe is going to help. So, and for a lot of people, they're doing what they believe is going to help. Anyway, politicians may have some other motive. But it does come down to they believe it's going to make them happy. Usually there's something there. So, all right. So having said that, let's move into the meditation. And yeah, all right. So let's do that. Let me just make sure there's nobody else on Zoom that's waiting to get in. Okay. So, all right. You can close your eyes and take a deep breath in. And a slow exhale. Another deep, full breath, breathing into your belly, breathing a lot of air into your whole upper body, and pausing at the top of the inhale, excuse me. And then slowly, slowly exhaling. Let the belly sink into the spine, let your shoulders drop, let your hands relax. Another deep inhale, breathe in light, breathe in hope, expansion, understanding, acceptance. And then breathing out anything that's keeping you divided, keeping you separated, keeping you polarized, keeping you in a lower vibration. Just let it flow out through your nose or mouth. And then just come into this natural awareness and alignment with the natural movement of your breath. Just noticing how you're feeling this evening. Observing how your breath is moving. Are you noticing there's a certain length of time between every inhale? And can you observe if that length of time is naturally extending on its own as you settle into your body, as your heart rate slows? Can you notice if your breath is moving into your diaphragm right below your lungs? Or if it seems to be concentrated maybe in your chest? Maybe it's really flowing more into the belly and out again. Just take a moment to observe what's happening. Now let's begin to just plug in to light. When all else fails, it's light that will clear and open and heal us from the inside out. So when we don't know what to do, sometimes just allowing, which is imagining, simply just imagining light flowing into your body, into the top of your head. Maybe it's in through your heart, maybe it just doesn't really matter as long as it's flowing through your body, circulating around. And feel it especially strong in your heart, as if you're plugging in your heart, plugging it in, illuminating it with light. And feeling the source of the energy, the source of the light, really from your heart space. And feel that light flooding your heart, spilling out, overflowing. And feel yourself expanding into your light body. You're moving out of your physical body into your aura, into the layers of light body around you. And if you'd like, you can even invite in now a divine being, if you like, that you enjoy connecting with, or you are reminded of when you think of what it means to truly love, or to truly have compassion for someone else, or a group of people maybe. And sometimes when we think of, maybe it's not a divine being, maybe it's a person you know, or maybe it's a pet, or maybe it could be anything really, but often it is a source of pure love that often humans, it's hard to find that in a human. Often these humans who have been the source of pure love are no longer incarnating as humans, and those are known as ascended masters. Could be Jesus, could be Yogananda, could be Buddha, could be Mother Mary, an angel, Archangel Raphael is especially powerful with the heart chakra and love. It could be a spirit animal. Just notice who or what. Maybe it's your dog. I know my dog represents such pure unconditional love for me. She's passed on the other side now. Just inviting that energy into your heart. And imagine that's being imprinted in your heart somehow, as if somebody was taking a roller and one of those old flyers they would plaster up on the side of a wall advertising something, and just rolling that vibration of love, of, of compassion, of understanding, of forgiveness, of kindness, of empathy, just plastering that, pasting that into your heart, integrating it in fully into your heart space. Just allow that to permeate for a few moments. And I'd like you to imagine that you are becoming this being, that you are looking out through the eyes of this divine being of light, or this representation of pure love that you've chosen. Imagine that you are that being for a moment, who unconditionally loves every single human, no matter what he or she believes or has done or has said. All the same, unconditional love. Now remembering that you're seeing the world through this being's eyes, that their heart is your heart. I'd like you to bring to your mind a person or a group of people that you have trouble with, that you're challenged by. And just bring that to mind. First thing that pops in your mind is usually what just is there, your subconscious mind, or your guides want you to focus on. Now I'd like you to view them and look upon them through the eyes of compassion in a new way, through the eyes of just holding them in this light, releasing judgment, releasing thought, letting it fade away, simply just holding the vibration in your heart and seeing them, or seeing this person. If you notice any evaluations, judgments coming up, just see if you can allow those to just be dialed down or pulled away from you, just sucked out of you, and coming back. Allow yourself to come back to the light in your heart, to come back to that cup that's that receiving, that open space in your heart. This, like the divine feminine, this open receiving cup that overflows with purity, with neutrality, with tolerance. And knowing the ego will try to come in and interpret and analyze and understand, but we are not interested in that. We are simply just holding space. Notice if there's some new perspectives that are as if you're putting on a different pair of glasses, and then maybe they're permanent. A new shade of, a new tint of how you see these people or how you see this person in a different light. And there's a releasing of judgment. And it simply just is. And maybe this person or these people are doing what they believe is right, what they believe is good, what he or she believes is helpful for them, or is going to make them happy in some way, which ultimately is the same motive that almost all of us have, is simply just finding happiness. So I'd like you to imagine, this might be a little bit of a stretch, imagine that you are embracing them somehow, that you're bringing them into your light and allowing them, even if it's just a little bit, or this person, allowing this group of people or this person in to give them a hug. Or maybe it's more of an energetic, light hug if that hug feels too close. Whatever feels right, but fold them in. Allow them to be folded in somehow to your light, to the divine light that you extend as you are this being, for them to receive and for them to enjoy and know that this light can help them expand and grow and learn, and can also help you do the same. And you may feel this lovely integration in your heart now, just like a cross section of the rays of light, the beams of light intersecting, that unity, that feeling of unity. That is the fifth dimensional feeling that many of us who are here to help share light, to help bring in the 5D way, that we seek. That is ultimately the goal, I believe, for humanity. And so whenever you're ready, you could take a deep breath in and just imagine that you're wrapping yourself in light, that you're becoming one with this divine being, that this divine being's vibration is now permanently one with you, and that this group of people, this person is now somehow, you're seeing them in a new light. You're seeing them, her, him in a new light. And in setting the intention that this is now a permanent new perspective that you will hold in your heart. And so taking a deep breath, bringing in that light, wrapping yourself again a little bit tighter. It's good to just ground in. Sometimes I even touch the top of my head, touch around my body, just center the energy and to reconnect and bring my own energy closer. And then you can bring your hands in prayer position to your heart center if you like, just giving thanks to this guidance received here today, for this healing, for this opening, and for the work you've done that does wonders for the greater good. You have just helped to heal the planet and all sentient beings on it, because we need it. We give much thanks and gratitude for this time and space, and we ask to be continually guided and supported along our path towards stepping into the highest and best version of who we really are, in compassion, healing, light, unity, truth, and love. May it be so, and so it is. So you can come back into your body, stretching out, moving your hands and feet, and then whenever you're ready, you can open your eyes. So hopefully that was helpful in some way. I'm always curious about how that was for people, and I know looks like a few people dropped off. Sometimes I get going on the topic and forget to start the meditation. Oh, Elle, I'm so glad. Thank you. So yeah, that is that's the thing. That's the stuff that I believe will really help us. And I don't know about you, and if any of you want to share what that was like, here now, now or later in the comments. It can be really powerful to do that. Really, really powerful. I think if we did that every day, imagine if everybody did that every day, everything would just, I think it would just be a whole new world. So before I wrap up, I'm going to share one thing just that's happening tomorrow. As some of you know, I'm doing for the Soulful Work community an Akashic Records gathering workshop, I guess you could say, and we meet every month, twice a month actually, once virtually, once in person, and I'm just putting it here in the comments on Facebook. And the Akashic Records, I just mentioned it, some of you know kind of what it is maybe, but it's a really amazing dimension to get guidance, information, healing, light. And if you're interested, you can join us. We'll be actually meeting at my house around a fire pit as long as it dries out, because we had a lot of rain. It's supposed to be, I think the weather should be fine. So if we don't have fire, we'll have candles. And I live stream some of that if you can't come in person. So you can join us virtually. And if you want to check it out, but you're not sure, you can join for free. The first month, join us. It's a coupon code, and I put the link here. And yeah, there's an online platform with all kinds of resources on the Akashic Records, how to access them, a prayer that I use, that I created, and details on just what exactly the Akashic Records are. And then every month there's new themes with different guest speakers. So next month we're doing creative coloring, like just let's play with color, it's called, with Ellen O'Donnell. And we're going to be gathering and just putting paint on paper, just slapping paint on. And then in December, we're going to be doing some raw food cooking and learning how to cook raw foods. Super cool. So sometimes I bring in guest people. So, all right. Thanks for being here, everybody. I'm going to go say goodnight to the kids, and have a wonderful night. Bye.